Have you ever noticed that some people reach for something the moment life gets uncomfortable? Food, screens, substances, fantasies. Anything that creates a feeling strong enough to drown out whatever is happening beneath the surface. And from the outside it looks like weakness, or lack of discipline, or simply bad habits. But psychology says something far more profound is happening inside the minds of people who use pleasure to escape emotional pain. Let's decode the real psychology behind it. 1. The brain treats emotional pain like a physical wound. Neuroscience shows that emotional pain activates the same regions of the brain as physical pain. Rejection, loneliness, grief, and shame are not just feelings. They are neurological events that the brain desperately wants to stop. And pleasure, in any form, triggers dopamine, the brain's most powerful pain-interrupting chemical. So when someone reaches for pleasure in a moment of emotional distress, they are not being weak. They are doing exactly what their brain was designed to do. Seek relief from pain by any means available. 2. Nobody taught them to sit with discomfort. Psychologists say that emotional regulation, the ability to feel difficult emotions without immediately escaping them, is a skill that must be learned. And for many people, it never was. They grew up in homes where emotions were dismissed, punished, or ignored entirely. Where crying was weakness. Where pain was supposed to be silent. So they never developed the internal tools to process discomfort. Pleasure became the only tool they had. Not because they chose it consciously, but because nothing else was ever handed to them. 3. Pleasure creates a temporary but convincing illusion of okay. Research on dopamine and emotional avoidance shows that pleasurable activities don't just distract from pain. They chemically suppress it. For a moment, the mind genuinely feels better. The problem disappears. The wound goes quiet. Psychologists call this experiential avoidance, the pattern of using external experiences to suppress internal ones. The tragedy is not that it feels good. The tragedy is that it works just enough to keep a person reaching for it, while the original pain grows silently underneath, untouched and unresolved. 4. It always traces back to something unprocessed. Behind almost every pleasure addiction is an emotion that was never allowed to be felt fully. Loneliness that was never comforted. Grief that was never mourned. Shame that was never healed. Anger that was never expressed. Psychologists call this the emotional backlog, years of unfelt feelings that sit beneath the surface pressing upward. And every time pleasure pushes them back down, they grow heavier. The habit is never really about the pleasure. It is always about what the pleasure is covering. So if you have ever reached for something to make the feeling stop, know this. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are someone who found the only exit available when the pain became too loud to bear. But exits are not solutions. And the door you keep running through leads back to the same room every time. The real work is not giving up the pleasure. It is finally turning toward the pain it was always protecting you from. Because on the other side of that pain is not more suffering. It is the freedom of finally feeling something all the way through, and discovering that you survived it. If this reached something you have been running from, hit subscribe. Because on this channel we don't just explain behavior. We illuminate the hidden emotional world beneath it. And sometimes being honest about the escape is the first step toward finally coming home to yourself.